Most tax pros leave a message.
It's Jane. I'm moving on to a TurboTax expert who beat your price. Adam Devine, tell him how I feel.
Hey, tax pro, she's been thinking twice. Best believe TurboTax will beat your price. This is a tax break.
Switch to a TurboTax Live expert and we'll beat what you paid your pro last tax season. Make the switch at TurboTax.com/beatyourprice. TurboTax full service only. Sign up by 12/20/2024 and file by 4/1/2025. Full details at TurboTax.com/beatyourprice.
How did you lose your driver's license?
That's part of the substance abuse issue after my mom passed.
A DWI or a DUI, whatever they call it?
Yeah, like 3 of them.
In how short a space of time?
Let's just say about a month and a half.
Wow.
This is the plaintiff, Kenneth Sanders. He says he rented out a room in his house to the defendant, and the guy fell behind on his rent. He also developed a drinking problem. He went away to rehab and abandoned all his property. He doesn't know what to do with this guy's stuff. He needs his rent money because he has a mortgage to pay, and is suing him for the $2,461.88. He's out. This is the defendant, Blake Burns. He says everything was great living at the plaintiff's unit until his mother passed away, and he started drinking heavily. He went to rehab and then moved in with his girlfriend and doesn't even live there anymore. Bottom line, he owes nothing. He's accused of running out on the rent. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $1,900 for his belongings.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Sanders, what's going on?
Well, I have a binder that I would like to share with you that contains pictures, and we can walk through the story if that's okay.
Okay.
So in September of last year, I posted an ad on Craigslist looking for a roommate because I had an extra room in my home. I met Blake. He seemed like a very nice guy. He seemed very responsible. I didn't think there would be any issues. We went along for a few months, no issues whatsoever.
What were you charging him in rent?
I was charging him $300 a month in rent, plus he was responsible for all yard work. So a few months go along.
I had to look down to see where rent could be $300 in Arkansas. Okay, go ahead.
Certainly not New York.
No.
The first few months, things went fine. He encountered some problems and became late on the rent in December. We had several conversations about it, and I gave him a very generous amount of time because I knew he had a lot of personal problems going on at that time.
What was the problem?
His mother had passed away.
Suddenly?
Yes, okay. And unexpectedly.
I'm sorry to hear that.
He had wrecked a vehicle and was having to buy another one. His insurance company was not cooperating. Imagine that.
They like to keep the money on their side.
Of course.
Right.
So, again, there were extenuating circumstances, so I gave him plenty of time.
So did he pay December rent?
He eventually paid December rent in January.
When did he pay it? In January, okay.
And then immediately, 3 or 4 days later, he asked for that rent back because he had other bills to pay. I was like, okay.
Did you give it back?
I did give it back.
You're kidding me. All right.
So next month, his girlfriend receives her tax refund and catches him up completely. He again encountered some personal problems and
what was it this time? The same thing or?
No, it was substance abuse. And he talked to me during the month of June about going to rehab. And every time that we spoke, my question was, who's going to pay the rent while you're gone? Who's going to pay the rent while you're gone? Who's going to pay the rent while you're gone? He reiterated to me multiple times in this month or so lead up to going to rehab that he had it taken care of, that there was no problem, the money would be coming. He was gone to rehab, I believe, 20 days. Did not.
When did he go to rehab?
He left my house on the 30th of June and then actually went about 4 or 5 days later. He went to his girlfriend's in the meantime.
He left your house on the 20th of June?
The 30th of June.
30th of June. All right.
Yes.
So did anyone pay July?
No.
August?
No.
September?
No.
October?
No.
Is all his stuff still there?
Yes.
Okay. So what was the substance of choice? Do you know?
I think it was alcohol and Xanax.
Okay. So did you talk to him in July, August, September, October?
Every day.
Every day?
No. Previous to him.
No, I'm not
going to
interested in
rehab.
previous. I'm asking you, did you talk to him in July, August, September, October?
Yes.
And
there were
what would he
copies-
say?
There were copies of the text messages between us. It was mostly texting.
Right.
in
And
the
what would he
back of
say to
your
you?
binder. At first, he said he acknowledged, I sent him a letter to rehab and to his girlfriend's home saying, I want you out. This is enough. I'm done with it. I'm tired of it. He acknowledged that conversation on July the 14th, said that he would be coming to pick up his things as soon as he was home, and that he would pay me storage. And I responded and said, no, we've never agreed on storage. We've agreed on rent and yard work, and that's what I want. We had a few conversations in the meantime. I would text him every week, usually every Friday, asking, are you coming this weekend? And sometimes he would respond, sometimes he wouldn't. One week it was, we've got COVID. One week it's, my girlfriend is sick.
What's going on? Why is your stuff all still there since June? Can you answer that?
I mean, like I said, I've had a lot of personal problems. I've lost my driver's license. That's really a big part of it. My ability to just be able to decide, hey, I need to go do this.
How did you lose your driver's license?
That's part of the substance abuse issue after my
Did you get
mom passed.
A DWI or a DUI, whatever they call it?
Yeah, like 3 of them.
In how short a space of time?
Let's just say about a month and a half.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Did they take you into custody?
Yes.
How long did you spend in custody?
Probably about a day in total, because they just made me sit them all out, and then I would have to bond out, which I did. And
see, some states, when you have a DUI and you're out on bond on a DUI and you pick up another DUI, you could say goodbye to your bond on the first DUI because you picked up another DUI, but certainly 3 DUIs. So what does Arkansas do? Just dry you out and set you free?
Oh, no. I have court in 2 days.
Well, yeah, I don't expect them to throw out the charge. Of course you have court. I'm saying they would only keep you in custody as long as you dried out and then they'd put you back on the road?
I don't know.
When did they suspend your license? Were you caught driving on a suspended license? Did you get a DUI on a suspended license?
This was all within 30 days of
Right, I know,
getting
but
my first. When they let you drive for 30 days after you get arrested, they give you a pink slip. And
In
again,
order
I'm not
to
a lawyer,
drive
so I
just
don't
for
know.
work, or in order to drive around
To drive
party?
to work and back.
Right, work and
To
back.
settle
And so
your
did you get
affairs.
your second DUI driving to work and back? Did you get your second DUI driving to work and back? Because you're not drinking at work.
To be honest with you, I can barely remember, so I
Right.
can't answer those.
So they didn't take you into custody then? The second one? And keep you in custody?
I was arrested a lot, ma'am. Yeah, I was arrested
All right.
3 or 4 times.
So why is your stuff still at the guy's house? Because, you know, you can't just leave him with all your junk and problems. That's not your problems, although they sound varied and intricate, are not his.
I completely understand.
Right.
I do, and I want to pay him the rent for those 2 months.
Why those 2 months? Now your stuff has been there. That's just when he filed the lawsuit. Now there's September and October. That your stuff is still there, right? You haven't taken it out?
I'm sorry, I was under the understanding that I only owed him for 2 months of rent.
Well, let me ask you a question. What happened with the stuff all these other months? What's going on?
I just haven't been able to get there.
Okay.
And the day that
How
I
have you
told
not
him,
been able to get
the day
there
that I told him
in
I could
all
come,
these months? Because we're talking about 4 months.
And the day that I told him I could come is the day that he told me I couldn't.
Okay,
So-
well, and somehow that's supposed to change the outcome of the case? I mean, the bottom line is, let's look at the stuff we're talking about that you've left over there, because it's not just the stuff in your room.
I'm not arguing with you.
You also have brought stuff from your mother's place and put it in the living room?
Yes, ma'am.
So all of this is what? Furniture from the mom's place in the living room? These
first pictures are all from the living room, and if you look in the very, very back of these pictures, there are 2 bookshelves and some cabinets that are mine. But all of this just...
Why haven't you gotten rid of the stuff? Because you keep repeatedly saying, by law, I could have gotten rid of it in 30 days, which happens to be true. So why haven't you? Why don't you just get rid of the stuff instead of keeping it there all these months?
Blake came to visit on the 7th of August because he told me he'd gotten a job, he needed his tools, and he needed, his work gear. So I didn't know if that 30 days restarted since he had visited the property.
No.
I mean, I'm trying to be safe here.
Yeah, that's fine, but, this is a lot of junk. Is this his bedroom or is this the front room stuff?
That's his bedroom.
I mean, basically, it's preserved how he left it with the mess and everything and the garbage in the garbage can.
I mean, you can see that there's...
Let's go over what you're suing for. I'm sorry, what's going on with the sink?
Oh, that was a sink that he claimed to have repaired and all of the junk that was left underneath.
Okay, but...
So that's not really... That's...
Okay, got it.
And then the fence is the pages back after that.
Okay.
When he was moving his mom's things in,
What am I supposed to see in this picture of the fence?
See how that post is bent?
No.
And then on
I don't see how the post is bent.
Okay, there's 2 pictures. One.
Okay, the second one I do.
The first, or maybe I have them backwards in my folder.
Yeah, that's fine.
There's one where that post is sticking out too far from where it should be.
Well, in this one, I see definitely that it's bent. So
Yes.
what was this? Is that his fault?
That was his fault. He drove the U-Haul from.
Did you see him do that?
Yes.
And did you say, "Hey, watch out! You're hitting the fence"? Like I don't know whether
I
it
mean,
was
it was just, I was kind of in the living room propping the door open so that he could move his things in. And by the time he had bumped it, it was too late.
My question is, did you witness him bumping it?
Yes.
And did you say something to him?
Yes.
What did you say to him?
I just said, what's going on? I don't understand. Why are you driving a U-Haul if you're not capable of driving at this point?
And what did he say?
He said, well, my bad, I'm sorry.
Did you hit the fence with the U-Haul?
No, ma'am. What U-Haul?
The U-Haul that you used to bring all your mother's stuff in.
No. I didn't use a U-Haul for that.
Yes,
What'd you use
did.
to bring your mother's stuff in?
My car.
What kind of car do you drive?
I've been in, at the time it was a rental. I believe it was a RAV4.
So he hauled
How would you haul the sofa and I don't think you remember a lot about this time.
Yeah, I mean, I told you that I don't.
Yeah. All right. So let's go over what you're suing for, Mr. Sanders. You're suing for rent for July and August.
Yes.
Okay.
And yard work for July and August.
Now, the yard work. Basically, do you have a picture of the yard? Like, how big is the yard?
The yard is 1/3 of an acre.
And he's supposed to do the yard work as part of the rent.
Yes.
And what proof do you have that you paid somebody $150 a month to do the yard work?
I mean, it's just a handyman. I asked him for an invoice, and all he said he goes, write one out.
And did he?
No, he didn't.
Okay, so I don't have that, right?
Right.
Right, so, okay. And then $400 for cleaning to get all this junk out of there. Did you eventually get all the junk out of there, or is it still there?
Most of it is there, except the furniture is still there. The junk is gone.
All right, then you're suing for a hole in the sheetrock. Is that in his bedroom?
Yes.
Do you have a picture of that?
Yes, it's in here. It's the very last page, second to last page.
Okay, and where in his room is that?
The door opens to the right, and it's probably 18 inches past the opening of the door, about my shoulder
And so
height.
is it the doorknob?
No.
No,
it's
what
about
was
my
it that made that?
shoulder height. I believe it was when he was moving furniture in and out of the room.
In his bedroom?
Yes.
Because some of the mother's stuff went into the bedroom?
Yes.
All right. Do you remember this?
Ma'am, that was not there.
You think he bashed the wall in order to get
Maybe
you?
when, I don't know. I don't know what he's done since I haven't been there, but that was not, the last time I was there to get my things, I was sober. I remember that was not in the wall. And I hadn't been back
What
there
proof do
since.
you have that the fence damage cost $300? Mr.
That's an
Saunders?
estimate. It's
No,
an
but you can't do
estimate.
that. You can't just pick figures out of the sky. You got to have proof. When you come to court, you have to prove your case because you have the burden of proof on your case. The carpet cleaning, what evidence do you have of how, according to him, any stains on there were there from whoever you rented the place to or whoever used the place before
If you
him?
look at that same page with the sheetrock, I have pictures of the carpet.
No, I see the carpet stained. What
And
he's saying
if you
is that
notice underneath, this is the line of demarcation is where the bed was. So there was no bed when he moved in. He put an air mattress down and then moved a bed in when he brought his mother's things over. So why would I clean everything except that square of carpet?
what's your answer to that? Did you wreck the carpet?
Normal wear and tear. Whenever I got there, there was a big burn hole in the carpet where a phone had exploded from the previous tenant.
Did you ever clean the carpet?
I cleaned it before he moved in.
No, did you clean it afterwards? Do you have a receipt for the carpet cleaning?
No, I'm going to do the carpet cleaning myself. That $50 is just for chemicals.
Do you have a receipt for chemicals or an estimate for me?
No,
so
I
can see?
haven't bought it yet.
Okay. You're also suing for lost wages for 2 days because you've had to prepare your case for court, and you're suing for mileage. What's the mileage? About
The
$311?
mileage is when I drove to small claims court. It's about 2.5 hours
Why
away
is it
from
so
my
far
home.
from you?
Because he's moved to a different county.
Oh, it doesn't matter where he is.
But that's where you have to file.
No, you're supposed to file where the offense occurred. The offense occurred where you are.
Now, I was specifically told.
Oh, they were just brushing you off. But that, all right, I get it. I understand what you're doing. Now I want to hear from you. I understand that you were going through a hard time. I understand that you were going through a substance abuse issue. What possible reason would you have to not just kind of destroy the place because it looks awful, but also leave all of your junk there for all this time? Haven't you needed anything that's over there?
Oh, yes. Yes, I have.
And he let you in to get your tools?
Yes, he let me in to grab a few things. He was more than fair. He was very nice. I hate that things went the way that they did.
Okay, is your girlfriend still your girlfriend?
Yes.
And why didn't the two of you figure out how to get all this junk out of there, all your stuff, that you say so sentimental? Because you want some of it now. Apparently just the 2 jugs of coolant, the couch, and the love seats are sentimental.
Everything that's sentimental, I have.
Okay, so why are you suing then for 2 jugs of coolant, the couch, and 2 love chairs?
First off, I didn't say anything about suing anybody.
Well, did you not counterclaim against him?
No, I just wanted to ask for my stuff back. That's all.
I'm sorry, did you file a counterclaim against him?
I don't know.
Yes, you did. Okay, you got to know what you're doing now. You may not have known what you were doing after your mom died and you were abusing Xanax and alcohol.
I specifically told them I did not want to sue for anything.
What you're asking for back are 2 jugs of coolant. That's what a lawsuit is. A couch and 2 love seat chairs. Why haven't you obtained that July, August, September, October?
I just haven't. I haven't been able to get there. I'm sorry.
Because in your complaint you say...
You can ask me a million times. That's what I'm going to tell you. I don't know what else you want me to say.
Yeah. Can you explain why you haven't?
He told me he didn't want me there.
What are you talking about? You went over there, he let you in there to get tools to work.
I'm talking about after that.
Right. After I filed suit, I did say you are not welcome in my home again.
Okay. What do you want to have happen? You want rent money, you want cleanup money, and you want damage money. I got that. Do you want him to go pick up the stuff, or you want to just get rid of it on your own? Because you're entitled to get rid of it after 4 months.
The coolant, I have absolutely no problem with. The sofa and the love seat I want to be compensated for only because I've gone September and October since the lawsuit was filed.
Right. You want to be compensated for how? What do you mean?
I want to pay him rent. I have no problem with that.
Well, you apparently do because you haven't. Now, what I'm asking you, though, is what's your plan? What's your plan? To get rid of it?
The sofa and the chairs I would keep. And I have text messages here making him an offer on the furniture in July when he was at rehab, which would have covered his July rent and given him $300 extra.
Are you kidding me? And he didn't take that?
He didn't take it. He told me he had other bids and would get back to me.
All right. Here's what we're going to do. You're suing for July and August rent? Yes. That's $600. You're suing for the lawn care. You can't just put an arbitrary figure on the lawn care without giving me proof that it would cost that, because what are we talking about, just mowing a lawn?
And weed eating.
I'm going to award you $150 for that because that is part of the rent. As far as clearing things out, I would award you more if I thought you were getting rid of the furniture, but you're keeping it, so that's freebie for you. And I'm going to award you $200 for the cleanup. The hole in the sheetrock, I'll award you the $100. The fence damage you have zero proof of, but I'm going to award you $100 for that. The carpet cleaning, I'll award you the $50 that you're asking for. I'm not awarding lost wages or mileage. That's $950, $1050, $1150, $1,200. I am ruling in your favor in the amount of the $1,200. On the counterclaim against him, zero. As far as I'm concerned, after you leave something behind for 4 months, that's 4 times the amount of time you have to pick your stuff up. So I am not going to award you a penny for that. I consider it abandoned, and you're free to keep it. That's my verdict. Good luck, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
So the plaintiff prevailed in this lawsuit. He gets $1,200. The defendant gets nothing in the countersuit. Let's see what Mr. Saunders feels about. Mr. Saunders, tell me, how do you feel about what the judge decided?
Not quite as much as I wanted, but I still think it was a very fair decision and, proved to him what I've been trying to explain to him all along, that he was not in the right.
It's interesting you didn't get rid of anything yet. You've got the option to do that now. I know you're going to keep the couch and I think the sofa, but you're going to get rid of everything else?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I hope this works out for you. $1,200 is what the judge gave you, and good luck to you.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Well, Doug, the laws of abandonment not only vary from state to state, they can vary from city to city, and that's something where you might want to go online and see what your jurisdiction provides. But I will tell you that at a point when a tenant moves out, and certainly 4 months later, that's too long, and at a point, that property that's left inside for months is simply abandoned.
What is the best $20 you ever spent?
Best $20 I ever spent was probably on an experience and not on an item or a tangible thing, because I still remember it. And I'm going to go back to 1977 to 78, like those 2 summers back to back. Yeah, I'm that old. And I went to rock concerts in the summer of 77 and the summer of 78. And my ticket in 1977 to see Leonard Skinner, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and the James Gang in concert was $7. Okay, I remember that. And then the next summer in 78, I saw the Rolling Stones and Foreigner, and that ticket was $10. And then the next one, the same summer, was Fleetwood Mac and Journey, and that ticket was $10, so $27. So I'm $7 over budget. But that's the best $27 I ever spent, because I still remember it like I was there.
I'm going to get you this T-shirt that says,
I may be old.
I may be old, but I saw all the great bands.
Right? So, I can't, those memories will be with me forever. How about you? I'll bet you spent $20 on something important or something.
I'm not going to dig that far back. I'm going to say whatever glass of wine I'm drinking at the moment.
Yeah. We have expensive wine taste. $20 for a glass of wine.
Whatever 2 glasses of wine I'm drinking at the moment.
Now you're getting closer to my neighborhood. $10 glass of wine. All right.
This is the plaintiff, Justine Sales. She says she gave the defendant a deposit on a bouncy castle for her daughter's 8th birthday. But unfortunately, she had to cancel the party because her car broke down and she couldn't afford both. The heartless defendant refuses to return her deposit, even though he only had it for a few days. And she's here in the name of justice and what's right, suing for the $700 she's owed. This is the defendant, Maurice Catney. He says he lost out on using that bouncy castle for another party due to the plaintiff's cancellation, and deposits are simply non-refundable. He told the woman she could have a $200 credit for a party sometime down the road. She wouldn't hear of it, so here they are. He's accused of getting bounced into court. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $180, the remaining balance on the booking.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says that she gave the defendant a deposit on a bouncy castle for her daughter's birthday, but it was never delivered and she wants her money back. Now, the defendant says that the plaintiff tried to cancel on him, and that's not permitted under the contract. It's the case of gotta bounce.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Ms. Sales, you are suing Mr. Catney and his business Rocket Bounce LLC for a $200 deposit that you gave him on a party you decided to cancel, and also $500 in pain and suffering. And you are counterclaiming against her the remaining balance on the party. Let me hear from you first, Ms. Sales. When did you contact him?
On October the 18th.
October the 18th. And when was the party going to be?
On October the 28th, my daughter's birthday.
10 days later.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you hired him, and what exactly was the agreement between the two of you?
The agreement was, so I had put $200 down for the bounce house. Well, I had wanted a bounce house, and I had wanted 2 LOL dolls as well.
What are LOL dolls? For the uninitiated,
like
my kids are grown. I'm a Barney person.
So they're like these tiny dolls, and they're like tiny Barbies.
Okay.
And I don't know, like they dress up. I can go and grab one if you.
How far is it from you?
See. It's like literally like in the other room. I can have my daughter like bring one.
Yeah, holler at someone to bring it to you. Why don't you do that?
Hold on one second. Oreo. Yes. Could you bring me an LOL doll? But it's like these little dolls that, the girls pretty much go crazy over these dolls. And I had wanted to. Here's one.
Okay. All right. Yes, the big eyes. That always does it. All right. So they're little plastic dolls. And all right. So he was going to have characters show up at the party. How many characters?
I had ordered 2 of them.
Okay. So your contract was for a bounce house and 2 LOL characters to show up, correct? Mm-hmm. All right. And you were supposed to pay how much? $380 was the total?
Yeah. So altogether, so at first I paid him the $200, and then upon arrival, I was going to pay him the remaining balance for the 2 dolls.
And what happens?
I had end up canceling the party because my car had broke down, and I really needed to, get the car fixed. I need the car to get to work and, everything like that.
So how many days after sending him the $200 do you tell him, I'm canceling the party, I need the $200 back?
So I reached back out to him on the 24th of October.
And you had given him the money what day? The 18th?
The 18th.
So on the 24th.
He wouldn't even let me book the party, without giving him the $200.
Yeah, of course. Because he's a business. He's not your relative. He's a business. He's trying to put food on the table. So he gets the $200. You book the party, and then you change your mind about the party because your car breaks down and you need the money for that. So was your daughter heartbroken?
She was.
Yeah. So what happens?
I mean, we had to end up doing something else. And then I tried to put something small together because I had ended up reaching back out to him because I was just like, all right, forget it. I'll just have just the bouncy houses and I'll just have, a few kids over. But he ended up not even wanting to take any of my phone calls. So I just had like a get together with it was just small, cake and ice cream, and everybody bought her presents and stuff over.
Right.
But, she was still like asking like, where's the bounce house and, where's the characters? I had explained to her that I had to cancel the party, but I was like, I don't know, maybe I could still, have the bounce house and stuff like that. And he had even said something too, like he had needed the $181, for the dowels. And, we had agreed that I was going to pay the $181 the day of the party. So, I didn't have the $181, so I had paid for the bounce house. So I was like, all right, well, he could just still bring the bounce house. And, he didn't even want to do that.
Did she say that to you, Mr. Catney, to just bring the bounce house?
No, she didn't.
All right. Would you have brought the bounce house if she had said to you, just bring the bounce house?
Yes, I would.
What did she want? According to you, what was it she was demanding? A full refund?
Yes, that's the only thing that she was demanding was a full refund of cash. And she was also, the only reason I don't have a lot of text messages and things to show you is because I actually had to block her on Facebook because she reached out to me every day, sending me messages.
Well, that would be good evidence to show me. Why didn't you unblock it so that you could show me that in court today?
No, I did unblock it, but I actually deleted them because, I didn't think it would actually come to court or anything.
Yeah, never do that. You're a businessman, right? And you got a person who's unhappy, assume it's going to go to court and keep your evidence. But in any event, did she ever in any of those texts or Facebook messages tell you, all right, well, I can't afford the other two, but if you're going to keep my $200, then bring the bounce house? Did she ever say that to you?
No, she didn't.
What was it she was saying? Give me back my money. You don't have a right to keep my money. I changed my mind. I canceled the party.
She was basically harassing me and bringing up God and sending me Bible scriptures and telling me I'm a bad person. It was just harassment. So I just literally erased everything and I blocked her. And, because at the end of the day, I'm in the business. I do this for kids. She clearly canceled her kids' event. And she probably wanted the money back for her car because she had car problems, but that's not my problem.
The best solution would have been to compromise. It's always better to compromise and not end up in court. And, so if you had just said to him at any point in time, Ms. Sales, just bring the bounce house, but it sounds to me from the evidence in the case that you really just wanted your money back and you were hoping to get your money back. So you never asked for the bounce house because then you definitely in your head not get them.
I spoke to him on the phone.
I thought you said he wasn't taking any of your calls. That's what you said.
He wasn't, but he wasn't taking any of my phone calls after we spoke on the phone. He just didn't want to hear anything else that I had
to say. Are you able to prove at all that he was supposed to bring the bounce house, that you told him, all right, if I'm paying for the bounce house anyway, just bring it? Can you prove that at all? Because everything I'm seeing is just you asking for your money back.
Yeah, because he stopped answering the phone, so I couldn't.
Okay. By the way, was anything in writing ever? Was there ever a written contract?
Yes, I have I just have an invoice and things from her from when we went back.
Anything she signed acknowledging the terms and conditions? That's what makes a contract, a written contract. Okay. Let me also suggest to you that is something else you should be doing from now on, and it's not hard to do. You should have something in writing that you have people sign, including waiver of liabilities, because, figure it out, spend a few hours on the internet or with a lawyer and figure it out, because you should be having something in writing. Either way, there are written contracts, which I, of course, prefer as a judge, but there are verbal contracts, and verbal contracts are completely enforceable. You have a verbal contract with him that you're going to pay him $380 and he is going to give a party. And then all of a sudden there's a change in your circumstances, which I respect. I respect the fact that you had the car payment and then you're trying to be responsible and everything else, but you did have a contract with him and you don't get to just pull out of it because things change. It is a contract. He has a right to hold your feet to the fire on a verbal contract that you made with him. You admit you made the verbal contract, and deposits are, by default, non-refundable. Why? Because the very reason you said, he wouldn't even book the party without my giving him the money. Well, yeah, because otherwise he could get other business, right? So the only thing that made him book the party for you and save the date is getting the deposit. Of course, that deposit's non-refundable. Otherwise, what's the point of making you pay it if you can just take it back? Deposits are if there's nothing said by anybody, you need to assume that a deposit is going to be non-refundable because you are paying in exchange for reserving a date. That's how that works. I don't think you're entitled to that $200, much less $500 for pain and suffering. If I saw the slightest bit of evidence that you asked for that bounce house to come and he didn't deliver it, I would rule your way on the $200 at least. But I don't see that anywhere. And I can't imagine that if you had asked for that, he would have said, no, The heck
But
with
he
your
did,
8-year-old.
though.
I just can't imagine that. But
put it like he was
she's
doing me a
upset
favor.
because you're upset because you saw he had the same birthday as your child, right?
He did.
Right. And then so you went on his Instagram on the day of that would have been the party, and what did you see, Miss Sales?
I seen him. He was at another party.
Okay. Whose party?
Even a whole nother event.
Right.
I don't know whose party it was.
Okay.
But that's the thing. Like if he would have answered my phone calls, then we could have discussed him probably bringing the bouncy house over. But he wouldn't
so I
take
guess you
any
never
of my
really
phone
did
calls.
get
And
to
like he
discuss
said,
it, right?
He
You
blocked
said
me on
earlier you
Facebook.
had discussed it with him, but now it turns out that you actually didn't. All right. It's like I'm a lie detector up here.
Perfect.
Just tick.
I love to see it happen.
Tick. Tick. All right. You're suing her for $180 for the remaining balance of the contract. Let me hear from you on that, Mr. Catney.
Yes, I'm just suing for the rest of the balance just because she brought me to court this morning. You know, it really wasn't that serious to me.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions. This other party, was that the bounce house that would have gone to her place, or was it a different bounce house? How many bounce houses do you have?
I have a whole lot of bounce houses, and I do a great business in Cleveland, Ohio, and everyone knows that. That's why she booked her event with me, because she knows I do great business in the city.
Okay,
And,
now the people who you were hiring as characters, you would have had to pay them, I guess, what?
I pay them about an hour.
By the hour. So you were able to cancel them because she canceled you, so you didn't pay anybody that $180, right?
No, I didn't pay any because she canceled her.
Right.
But I had other events going on that day as well that I didn't even think that would be brought up today because that's irrelevant. My other bookings that I had.
Well, I think what she wanted to say, I think she thinks you maybe only have one bounce house and you didn't lose any money, so.
I have over 10 bounce houses.
Okay.
I have over 20 characters and I do great business.
Right, and I don't think it's that relevant either. I mean, I can understand why she'd bring it up as an argument, but you're entitled to the benefit of your bargain. You're entitled to your lost profits. You're entitled to that. So, but I think the $200 covers your lost profits, and I don't think you're entitled to any more, and I'm not going to order her to pay you the other $180. On your lawsuit against him, Ms. Sales, I'm ruling in his favor. And on Mr. Catney's lawsuit against you, I am ruling in your favor. I'm not going to order you to pay the rest of it because you did cancel it in enough time for him not to be out any money on the character portion. And you didn't have to bring the bounce house there. So $200 covers I believe, your lost profits plenty. That's my verdict. Good luck, folks.
So the plaintiff does not prevail in this lawsuit. She was seeking $700 from the defendant. The way it works out is he's getting $200 from her. So let's talk to her. Ms. Sales, how do you feel about the judge's verdict? What are you thinking right now?
Obviously, I have no comment.
You must be thinking something, though. Or you can't be just
I'm thinking
not
that I
react at
have
all.
no comment.
Mr. Catney, let me ask you, do you feel bad for her at all? I mean, she had promised this nice party for her daughter, but she didn't get it.
No, well, I don't feel bad for her at all because I don't think she's a good person, but I feel bad for the daughter. So if anyone in the family can reach out to me and I can do something for the little girl out the kindness of my heart, that'd be on me. You feel me?
All right. Well, that's very kind of you. At least you got a good heart. Okay. And that'll bring this case to a close. Harvey?
So one of the clauses that are really important in a contract is the cancellation clause. It's real important to know when you have a right to pull the plug on a contract if things aren't going well. So you should be specific about that. Sometimes you forget about it because when you sign the contract, you expect things are going to go well, but the fact is, as you see on the People's Court, they don't always go well at all. So think about that cancellation policy and insert something in the contract. It could really help you down the line.
Maryland, have you ever tried 19 Crimes wine? I guess it's a California red, and I don't know if you have or haven't, but what's your favorite wine? You probably solved 19 crimes, right?
I have tried that one. I think that's the one where you, I'm not sure, but I think there's some trick to the label where you scan the QR and it'll tell you a history of one of the crimes.
The grim-faced fellow on the front.
Some like sick thing that I would find thrilling. Yeah.
Right.
My favorite is Paul Meyer. Paul Meyer,
That's some highbrow stuff.
That's some highbrow stuff. 2018. It's Brad Pitt in a bottle. Is what that is.
In a bottle.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Well, my favorite is probably a beer or a glass of rye whiskey on the rocks, maybe something like that.
And there's actually a number of wines that I love that are in the $25, $30 category, which Conundrum is one.
You can get some really
The Federalist is another.
Spectacular wines. In fact, you can fool your friends. Get the $100 bottle and a $25 bottle, and they'll mess up.
My friends won't know.
Right.
They'll be looking for the beer.
Right.